So this is Miko from the Embargo Man channel. I'm going to contribute to one of the co-founders of Apple. Well, this is an iPod that I found that somebody left off. Somebody found, and I put that nobody reclaimed it, but even though it's an Apple iPod, and I put this in commemoration of him. That even though Apple never invented the MP3 player, but they innovated it. So when when Apple first started, it was started by two guys. One of them, Steve Jobs, and the other guy, Wozniak. Steve Wozniak. If you're watching this video, I think you're gonna have a great potential in the future. Well, they started in, I think, 2 or 3 years before I was born, back in '76, with the Apple I. Then Steve Jobs has the idea. His buddy Wozniak was also helping out. These are like two geniuses, right? So they started out in a garage. Jobs and Wozniak started building computers in Steve Jobs' parents' garage, even though he was adopted and stuff. So they also bring out the Apple II. So Wozniak was also in there inventing, even though I saw on TV, they inventing some chips for the Apple II and then both of these guys have been very creative in their stuff. So this is the story that what I saw about that. Yeah, but even though people may not forget, whoever wonders of calling about Batman and Robin, just another example. Yeah, Batman cannot fight crime together without Robin. This is how close is the two Steves are when they work together at the beginning. Well, this is it, and then this is like saying, or put it better of another example. One of the greatest basketball players, Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen, right? Whoever knows about Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen and the Chicago Bulls, how they win championships, and then this is it about you know Steve Jobs and working together with Wozniak. He also was first attempt to we're gonna give him credit. First attempt to brought out the Lisa, or a computer that's like a pre-Macintosh, but it was so big and bulky. Even though the mouse and even though with the mouse and everything, well, somebody else invented the mouse. Somebody else, like Xerox, came out with the GUI system. That's what I heard. If it wasn't for Steve Jobs, that has been improving the GUI system, when big corporations have the GUI system what we have now, even though we have competitors, even though I'm not an Apple person, but we have competitors, we will like not even have these computers, and maybe we have to go to the military, or in other words, a foreigner have been done all that stuff, right? Making a short story, make it a long story short, about foreign inventors here in the United States of America inventing stuff. You have, like, in case of Macaroni with the radio, and the British inventor Graham Bell, Born in Britain, naturalized in Canada. He was born in Britain, naturalized in Canada with Canadian citizenship. Even though if I know that, even though hasn't also invented the telephone. Steve Jobs is the only one of the greatest inventors and geniuses that we have homegrown brewed right here in America of all time. Well, it was the best inventor since Thomas Edison with the light bulb, right? So we gotta thank him to bring the computer at home, so it's not gonna be used for corporations or big military use, and we could have the mouse and all these good looking GUI, even though I have a Windows operated computer. Well, even though I still have Zoom MP3 player, but this is more about Steve Jobs and Apple and what have been left over us, and we thank him for granted for all these things that we have, right? So going on with the subject, when the big bulky computer came out, and thankfully the GUI, this is all related. The first Macintosh came out back in 1984, 84 then 85. Revolutionized the use of computer with GUI graphics. Same thing I'm using GUI. This is like a Windows phone, right? See that? All that. I got all this stuff. Well, we have to thank him for that. Even though we have competitors, And I saw iJustine, very clever. I think you're very inspirational. You have all these Apple stuff. Only product from Apple I have is an iPod. Well, it was like the greatest thing and the greatest contribution what they have done and what they have talked about Steve Jobs. And I admire what he have done, even though as a partnership with Wozniak, another great inspirational mind. So whatever it happened, then both Jobs and Wozniak left Apple a year after. A year after they came out with the Macintosh have launched. Since then, Wozniak was doing something else, or they started with some companies or whatever, been exposed. But Jobs, he came out with a company called Next, and then the Next computing system has been very successful. Apple was going downhill. Then Jobs came back in 1997 when Windows was catching on strong with their Windows 95. Well, he put Apple back on his feet. So this is just Steve Jobs, but we forgot about the other Steve. When they're gonna come back? So after that, innovations have come. The innovations of the MP3 player. He brought out the iPod. What else other thing? Then after that, he brought out so many products that or invented and innovated so many products we could ever imagine what Apple has brought that have helped bring out other competitors to work on these kind of tools that we have here. So thanks to him. Thanks to only him. And also what they did. The iPad was the latest thing, but what made Apple to be one of the greatest companies on earth, it was the help of a phone. With just phone that Apple has surpassed Microsoft as one of the greatest technology companies in the world, or one of the greatest companies in the world, period, that outtops Microsoft and even outtops ExxonMobil of energy. Pretty amazing, right? Awesome. The i the iPhone was the one that has helped Apple reach on the top. Then is when the invention of the iCloud syncing system and all these other inventions. Probably Jobs after that has quit and Tim Cook took over. Yeah, and this is just one thing. When this guy came and Cook took over as CEO, it's like back then. Another great one, Bill Gates had led the control of the CEO with Paul Ballmer take control of the CEO of Microsoft, right? But Apple in there is like Tim Cook. Tim Cook, well, I think there's the ideas and everything, but still, it's gonna be something with the iCloud. Will be a sync system for General Motor branded vehicles to compete with the sync that is developed by Microsoft. It's equipped on Ford cars. Yes, it might have the iCloud might be for on your Camaro, or if it's saying to somebody with a Lincoln vehicle wanna do navigate, do whatever the thing with the sync tells and fails. Well, the guy in his Cadillac has his iCloud system never fails. Well, it's kind of like that, but maybe also that's one thing what they call it, the iCloud. When I found out about the iCloud, and then Apple might just have other bright inventions. You can't count Wozniak out. Probably, if you have seen what Steve Jobs has done over the years, and his partner, not less to have a book. It's called I Was or whatever. So this is just a contribution to Steve. I mean Steve Jobs, that is. So so what will happen in the future? Life after Steve Jobs. Apple's life after Steve Jobs will be Tim Cook would have a promotion to call up Wozniak. Sure he did. Well, Wozniak was the other half of the brains of Apple. You can't count him out. But after that, Steve Jobs might have led to everything that might have seen. If he was still alive, Jobs might surpass a Mexican billionaire to take away the title of the richest man in the world. But now that he's dead, Tim Cook is in control, and then Wozniak might come back to Apple, and then Wozniak might have new inventions for Apple, and probably you have mentioned people with Xbox 360 game consoles, Xbox 720 game consoles. You know what? Just hold on, because those people that have Xbox video game consoles, they're just gonna be like gone. When Apple takes out their own first video game consoles, they're just gonna kill the Xbox. And what else? I mean that like Xbox game console might be like the dodo bird. In other words, extinct. And then this is what might happen. You might have the other Steve ideas when Jobs is dead, when passed away. Thank God, God rest Steve Jobs' soul. Then what Jobs might have done is Tim Cook was there. Tim Cook is the CEO for now. Wozniak might just help out and he might just change things and probably welcome, or let's say welcome to Woz world pretty soon. We are gonna be in it, right? So, or in other words, Wozniak might surpass Carlos Slim as the richest man in the world. You know, can you? In other words, how are you gonna freaking beat a Mexican? Well, somebody could beat a Mexican. Well, Carlos Slim is a Mexican billionaire that have surpassed Bill Gates now. When Tim Cook called Wozniak to just help out, and man, Wozniak might decide to take over what Jobs has done, that guy, Steve Jobs, might help out Steve Wozniak, or will help out Steve Wozniak, surpassed the richest man in the world title over Carlos Slim from Mexico. Well, I hope you enjoyed the title. I hope Wozniak, I think you'll be really surprised to surpass um, Carlos Slim Hilu as the richest man in the world. That'll be awesome. And then I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you, Justine, or Justine, to make a very inspirational video for Steve Jobs. And I hope all these Apple fans will be very grateful for your video. Goodbye, have a nice day, and let's see what Apple has been doing next after Steve Jobs. I think you cannot count another genius out, but I think it will do well when Tim Cook calls on Wozniak. Bye.